Coming up on this episode of the IoT Inc. Business Show.
One thing I would recommend is you kind of want to take a top-down approach, and you want to just get started. You know, you're not going to be able to build the perfect, technology stack to get it right from the get-go. But you really want to get a start because it's going to evolve and it's going to change, and you don't want to be stuck somewhere that you can't pull yourself out of.
Building an IoT product line isn't just for the big guys. Small and medium-sized manufacturers can transform their businesses into Internet of Things powerhouses by following the same IoT playbook, albeit on a smaller scale. In this episode of the IoT Business Show, I speak with Christian Shaffer about the steps his 20-person company took to unlock $2 million in recurring revenue.
All this and more on this episode of the IoT Inc. Business Show. The people, the business, and the technology of the next generation internet. This is the IoT Inc. Business Show. And now, here's your host, Bruce Sinclair.
Hello and welcome to the IoT Inc. Business Show. This show is made possible by sales of my book, IoT Inc., published by McGraw-Hill, and the IoT Inc. Certified IoT Professional, or ICIP, online training and certification program. Become a certified IoT professional by completing the program's 3 courses: ICIP Technology, ICIP Business, and ICIP Strategy and Digital Transformation. Details of which can be found at www.iot-inc.com. That's www.iot-inc.com. With me today on the IoT Business Show is Christian Shaffer. Christian is Director of Customer Success at All Traffic Solutions and has over 15 years of experience in software sales and account management. He played a key role in transforming All Traffic Solutions from a hardware company into an IoT company with a subscription-based recurring revenue model. I read Christian's book, which details this journey, and thought he'd be a great guest. Christian, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Bruce. Great to be here.
So what's been on your agenda lately?
Well, we are ever bringing on more customers, and one of my key responsibilities is to make sure that they get acclimated to our hardware products, but also help them realize the total value of the apps that we provide. So we do a lot of onboarding calls, a lot of proactive follow-up, and taking care of our customers, and ultimately increasing the recurring revenues.
Well, good. So what percentage of your business now is represented by this recurring revenue business model?
Well, as far as the hardware side going out, we're probably bringing in close to 70% of our customers who are adopting the apps right away, which is a great, it's a great starting point. And we can also, we can upsell from there as well. So.
And how successful are you then from upselling from the initial ones that decide not to go with the subscription-based model?
Well, those are processes we're putting in place as we speak to beef up in that area. Mm-hmm. Our strong point is really two-tiered. It's keeping the ones that do, getting the ones that do start out to renew, which we do at about 70% as well, and then the nice figure that we've seen as time goes on of those initial 70% that renew the first time, we're retaining about 85 to 90% of them moving forward.
I like that, and also like that you're measuring it. Well, we're probably getting ahead of ourselves, and probably some of our listeners are scratching their head a little bit. But why don't we start by you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background in IoT?
Okay, sounds good. I have always been involved in software sales and account management for as long as I can remember. Now,
so you're a sales guy then?
I am more of a sales guy. I do. I like the technology aspect. I understand it enough, but it's not. It's not the environment I live in. It's not where my strong points are.
Sure.
Now, as far as getting into the Internet of Things, well, that almost happened by accident. I have a quick story to share in that regard. So in a previous life, I used to work for a medical transcription company. So I was doing the account management, and the sales and customer service. And we ended up having a spin-off company where we wanted to actually get more into the technology platform side. So we had an investor come in, and we got up and running. Things were off to a great start. Unfortunately, and no control of our own, the investor got some cold feet and kind of pulled the plug on the whole thing. So I found myself, and this is like 2008, 2009. So things, if you think back to the economy back then, it was kind of like it wasn't an uncommon situation or story to hear about where somebody's, very quickly without employment. So that's where I was. And, immediately I'm on Monster, I'm on Craigslist. I'm scrambling to figure out my next move. And I saw it was a Craigslist ad, and it was for kind of like a sales and marketing support role, and it looked good. It described a lot of the skills, that I was interested in. I ended up applying for the job, and that's how I interviewed, and that's how I found myself with the outfit I'm with right now, which is All Traffic Solutions.
Okay. Well, yeah. Why don't you first tell us what does All Traffic Solutions do, and then describe the company's products before and their business models, and its business model before and after IoT. Sure.
So when I came in, the grand vision for this company, to become an Internet of Things solutions provider and to roll out a connected product strategy was just kind of crystallized. They had the vision.
Okay.
I was kind of coming in right at the right time, looking back on it. And, All Traffic Solutions is a company. The primary hardware products that we sell are radar speed displays and variable message, portable message boards. So if you're driving down the highway, you see those signs that show you how fast you're going.
Yep.
Those are the signs. That's a radar speed display. So that was kind of the starting point. And then the vision was, at that point, to create a suite of apps that we'll get into more detail here, where we were going to leverage technology to provide a more valuable offering to our customers. So we were at the very starting point of all that. The vision was kind of laid out when I arrived.
So this is classic. So you have a hardware product that you were selling. There was a vision for IoT. Who were you selling the product to?
Our primary customer base is municipalities, police departments. So these guys, they will put the signs out. It's kind of like putting an extra officer out in the field.
Sure.
As far as our product line transforming, I guess maybe we could shift into. You had mentioned earlier. Why? I'm sorry. I need to back up, Bruce.
Well, first just describe. So the products that you have, there are these radar signs, and what I'm interested in is you sold them as hardware. But tell me about the business model. So it was just a one and done. It was how are you selling these, and how are you guys making money?
Right. Exactly. So originally it was a hardware sale. So they would buy the radar speed displays. They would use the product. It required minimal, if any, training really to kind of get up and running with the product. So the big shift was that we had wrapped through the connectivity, we were in the process of introducing what we call the Traffic Suite, which is a product line on our platform that we now call the Traffic Cloud.
Okay, but before you go there, I just want to dig in a little bit more on the old business model. So you sold a hardware. Did you sell direct? Did you have distribution, or was it sold direct?
Primarily, we sold direct.
And was there any service or support contract that went with it, or was that a pay as you go as necessary?
It was minimal. It was
okay.
It was optional and minimal at best. The percentage of people that took a support contract.
Okay, so generally they bought the traffic sign, and then that was it. You kind of didn't see them again until someone ran over that traffic sign and they had to replace it. Or
exactly, it was more of a warranty, manufacturer's warranty type situation.
Okay, all right, great, got it. So then you're saying, all right, then, but there was a vision, right?
Absolutely.
Take us from there.
Okay, yeah. So the vision was really, we had noticed that with our customers, there was the ability, even with just the hardware solution, to collect data, traffic data, volumes, speeds. Now you could collect the data on the sign and download the data with a USB cable. Kind of be like a local management option where you could upload that data via USB cable to your PC. And run a set of reports. Now, what we noticed with our customer base was that data was their main focus, because the police departments are able to use that data to track, high enforcement areas, let's say. So if they can look at traffic volumes and speeds over a week's time, they can start to see patterns where people are flying through this area more on Mondays and Tuesdays than they do the rest of the week. So for a revenue opportunity for them, if they want to put the signs, or if they want to put an officer, a live body out in the field, they know when to go. They know when to, not only to slow people down, get them to drive safer, but, a revenue opportunity as well. So, So we noticed that they started gravitating towards that.
Do they look at it that way, just out of curiosity? I mean, do they have like revenue numbers that they have to meet? Are they actually talking about it in that in that context?
They don't come right out and say that. But I have a feeling that some of them get more pressure than others. Let's just put it that way.
All right. Go ahead.
So we noticed this as a company, and moving forward, I mean, one of the big things with, just selling hardware, you can only make the light so bright. You can only make the metal so shiny. And even if you are a company, which we prided ourselves on being a company that provides the best of breed hardware solutions, at a certain point, people are going to look at you as a commodity, right?
Right.
So even if you're above and beyond, which I believe we were and are, you're going to get that haggling for pricing. It's like people want the lowest cost. A lot of times it's the financial people that are just making the decision despite their recommendations. So you're kind of fighting a losing battle at certain times. So what we did, we knew we were onto something with this data collection. So we started thinking, how can we develop our value proposition around this data element? How can we make it easier for them to use that? How can we make it easier, better? So that kind of, we started thinking, and we're thinking, what else do they do? What are the other inherent problems that our customers may have while they're managing hardware solutions, right? So that's when, we were thinking, you know what? You put these signs out, a lot of times they're battery operated, right? So they have like a 5 to 7 day lifespan, and then you got to go out, charge batteries, and bring them back in. So, and this is I'm just throwing this in as a thought. We started thinking, what if we did battery alerts? What if we sent them a real-time notification at different battery levels? Would that help them do their jobs better? stuff like that. So that's how the thought track started when we put our bundle apps together.
Yeah, no, I like that, and and I think what what I preach is all incremental value. If an IoT product comes from transforming its data into useful information, and it's good. I mean, in the end of the day, what you were looking at was the result that the customer wanted. And let's face it, it's not like they want to buy a sign, right? It's not like what they want is they want to have some sort of obviously a mechanism to slow drivers down. They see the sign, hopefully someone will go, oh gosh, okay, I better slow down. But it's this data that you talked about, or more in particular, the data, and then putting it into information so that they can act on it. And this is classic. I mean, this is a classic way of creating value with an IoT product. And I like how you kind of got there. So is there anything more? Or can we jump into the business model now?
Yeah. Well, now that we've kind of led up to it, and the reason why we're going down that thought track, I'll kind of give you a quick explanation of the traffic suite, and from each app in the bundle, you can kind of see how we were. Okay. Not just thinking of it from a technology perspective, but we're thinking about our customers and what goes on in their everyday lives. So instead of just having the sign that's slowing, showing people how fast they're going and slowing them down, we looked into their world and we put, 6 apps together. One of the apps was the equipment management app, right? So this is the ability for them to manage their equipment from anywhere they have an internet connection. So there's the IoT based cellular communication. There's a modem in the sign that's calling out and checking with the servers. They can manage their sign whether it's 5 miles away or if they're halfway across the country. Or if they forget to change any settings during work, they can log into their home office and work with their equipment. So we got the equipment management. We did a mapping application that has live GPS, so they can not only just get a visual of their equipment, but there's also some security features built in there. So if anybody were to, if a sign goes, walking down the street, you can kind of track it, And we do have, actual documented cases of customers of ours that have had stolen signs that they've been able to recover. They're able to stop vandalism situations. So, everything we're trying to do is very applicable to our customers' lives and their world. Sure. The next app we added was a reporting app. So one of the big drudgeries, and our customers love us for this, one of the big drudgeries in their life is, to have to go out to the sign, pull down the data or bring the sign back, upload the data, track the files, This is the killer app of IoT. Not just the information, not just the data collection, but the automation of the process, right? So we've taken a process that would take them hours every month, every week sometimes, and we turned it into a push button process. Nice. And we'll talk later about revenue and the willingness to pay for services, but you can already see, you get the sense that, we're giving them valuable time back. So we have the reporting automates everything. Everything's in the cloud. They don't have to track the files, save the files. We eliminated that. Like I said, we have the battery alerts, which also has speed alerts if they want to get real-time notifications, tamper alerts. So if somebody comes up with a baseball bat and cracks the sign, they have a better response time. And we also have a camera in the sign, so it will take images and automatically load those images as well. And then to round out the traffic suite, we also do what we call Premier Care. So that is a perpetual warranty on the actual sign itself for as long as they remain subscribed. So that is our traffic suite.
Got it. Okay. So now how do you make money with the traffic suite?
Okay. So the 70% that we bring in, we offer them a nice deal to take advantage of the services on the front end.
So now when you say 70, it means that 30% just say, I'm just going to buy the hardware, and then 70% say they're going to buy the services?
Right. So believe it or not, there is a subset of our customers.
That's higher than I thought, too. Gosh.
Yeah, and there is a subset of customers that in their departments, they're not going to look at the data. They're just, they could care less. They don't have,
got it.
Even though it saves time, they don't even have the manpower to necessarily take the time to do anything, right? They just want to slow down through their one red light town. Okay. So those are the ones that, there's upsell opportunities later, but sometimes, there's a certain percentage. It's just, you want to sell them hardware only just so you can keep that share of the market,
Okay.
So, but it's, I'm sorry.
So 70% are buying the services, and then so break down what are the services and what's the business model then?
Right. So when they buy a sign, they have the services built in. That means they have an out-of-the-box solution ready to go. So you take a radar sign out into the field, they power it on, and immediately the modem starts calling in, it's collecting data. There's the automated data transfer. So at the end of typically a 12-month term, if they want to keep that automation, they want to keep all the services that we had described in the Traffic Suite bundle, well, they're going to get an invoice, and they're going to have an opportunity to either pay a subscription fee and continue managing their equipment with the apps, or they can revert back to local management with a USB cable. And those are the 70% that we're converting.
Okay. So they've been on. So that first year really is they're on a service. I mean, it is a service subscription model for 1 year. You're saying, and then at the end of that 1 year, you're trying to get them to renew.
Right. So they're on the front end. They're sold on the idea. They buy.
Oh, and you include it, right? That's right. So that's the interesting part. So you include that service as part of the hardware to kind of onboard them in a way. Is it more expensive with that than say the hardware by itself? I guess it probably is, right?
I mean, they are paying a premium.
Okay.
We provide a bit of a discount just to incent them to just try it out. We know that if they try it, they're not going to. It's kind of like email. Okay? Could you imagine writing a handwritten letter every time you wanted to communicate with somebody nowadays? That's kind of how it is with the connectivity.
And what percentage premium is the hardware with the 1 year subscription versus the hardware without any subscription? Roughly.
Roughly, I mean, you're talking probably about ongoing with the renewals.
No, just that initial purchase, though. I mean, so when they purchase it, and they got two choices: 30% choose just the hardware, 70% choose the hardware and the service. What percentage more are the 70% paying?
Oh, a good 20-25% more. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that isn't that actually that's good. That's good information. So so you onboard them with a relatively. I mean, it's not super cheap, but it's not like very expensive either.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we make it bearable, but we're kind of, with our marketing approach, we're kind of all in with, this is the path you want to go.
Yeah.
So immediately you have that 25% premium.
Yeah, right off the bat. And then at the end of the year, hopefully they don't want to go back to the manual USB method. Now, is there are you selling all the apps as a bundle as part of this service, or can they pick and choose, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, initially it goes out as a bundle. And then after their first year of service, we do, if their budgets are cut and they just, I absolutely love the apps. I don't want to get off of the apps, but we can only afford reporting. That is, that's a big one. We must have the data transfer taken care of. So we'll do a la carte. We'll even do seasonal packages. If the weather is like extremely cold during the winter, they don't use the signs. We'll do 6-month packages.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's just pretend these signs cost $100. If they go with the services, they're spending $125. then what's the bill they get after the 1 year mark is over for all the services? What is the bill?
So that would be a $25 bill.
Okay, so the 25 just continues then.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's a little more, because we do, let's say a $30 bill, using those rough numbers.
Okay. So what's interesting here is, I mean, your business model is kind of a combination. I mean, you didn't just sell them a service. I mean, one way you could have done it was to say, it's 25, you don't own this sign, but it's $25 and you keep paying us $25 for however many years you want to use it. What you did was kind of combine, it's kind of like a product service model, business model, where you sell them the product and you sell them the service separately, right?
Yeah. Designed to work together optimally, but yeah. So they have the choice, absolutely.
Now, how was there? I mean, changing the business, and I think that makes total sense. Now, changing the business model on your customers, were the bean counters scratching their head and kind of pushing back? Did you have any resistance? I mean, other than there's a bit of a premium, but they're getting more. But was there anything that had to do with the business model that they didn't like having this recurring charge, or was it like, oh no, this makes total sense?
Well, you know what, we had to train our market, to help them advance and take advantage of the latest technology. So, yeah, for some of our customers, it was a little shocking. I was like, what? I mean, when they found, sometimes it would be a tough conversation because we had never asked them for a renewal fee, so.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We got a little pushback, but that's really where the customer success and the proactivity of following up, holding them by the hands, making sure they see the value of what they're getting, make sure they experience it firsthand, and most importantly, use it. They began to sell themselves after a while. We had to be proactive in the beginning, and still now. I mean, it's just part of our process. But
okay, well, let's step back a little bit, and what type of advice, or what advice do you have for listeners that are saying, yeah, I like that, for planning their own IoT initiative? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would recommend is you kind of want to take a top-down approach, and you want to just get started. You're not going to be able to build the perfect, technology stack to get it right from the get-go.
Right.
It's you want to start with, looking at your customers, finding out how they use your product now, what value can you add? But you really want to get a start, because it's going to evolve and it's going to change, and you don't want to be stuck somewhere that you can't pull yourself out of. So you want to think of it more like, you want to think about your operational scalability probably more than your technical scalability, right? Like how are you going to get a start and keep moving and be able to evolve and build this into your business processes, right? So, that's kind of the approach.
No, what do you mean by that? I mean, on the technical side here in the Silicon Valley, we call that the minimally viable product, right? Just get it out the door. And I can tell you, with all the clients I work with, there has not been one that we've not did a major pivot. And when I say a pivot, at least a 90 to 180 degree pivot on what we originally thought. So the idea, like you're saying, is, let's get it out the door. Let's put it in front of customers. Let's have them use it, because you know what? We know it's going to change anyway. But what I'm intrigued about is the second part. And you're saying maybe put a little bit more thinking into how to integrate this in your operations, or what you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking. So if you think about connectivity as, it's not just a technology, it's a process that will ultimately affect every part of your business, right?
Exactly.
So now we have renewals. We went from a once and done sales concern to a subscription model, right? So our follow up sales and marketing, which we now call customer success, that was an entirely new aspect that our
new department. Even,
yeah,
right?
totally. It's
yeah.
Because we didn't have to reach out proactively and make sure that they got the value, right? We were more reactive previously. We were waiting for them to call in. Maybe it's a break fix situation. Yes, we're going to take care of our customers, but it's a whole new ball game when you're calling them in 12 months and you're sending them a renewal invoice and you're expecting a return on your effort, right?
Yeah, no, you gotta work it, and I definitely want to talk about the customer success component of it. But so what you're saying, which makes a lot of sense, same thing. When you're building an IoT product, it's transforming your company, and so what are some other areas that you found besides the customer success team that you had to think about or that it affected your business?
Right. Well, I'm just going to kind of round robin every area of our company, right? So
sure.
Think about the guys in production. They're manufacturing the signs. They're getting them ready to go out the door. Well, those guys, it's a new ball game for them because not only are they building the signs, they're preloading them with the software, and
right.
and all the firmware, everything that goes into a viable IoT type solution, and now our accounting department is they're not just it's not just about the once and done sales anymore. It's to incorporate new ways to track a new type of revenue, which is this recurring revenue, and our design and engineering guys, so they're constantly kind of watching the product and they're able to provide better feedback and technical support. They have another aspect we should probably touch on at some point is the visibility that we now have through the connectivity to our customers. Because that kind of ties right in with the business processes, right? Because everything we can see now.
Right, engineering, as you were mentioning, you can transform this data into information for how you should upgrade or how you should update your product. Okay. Support, as you just mentioned, you're going to have a lot of information on how they're using the product, what breaks down. Is that kind of where you're going with it?
Yeah, exactly. And you have a lot more. You're going to have a lot more confidence and display a lot more competence when a customer calls you and you can look behind the scenes and you can immediately see, okay, is everything fine with the product except maybe they have it in an area where there's minimal connectivity, right? So we can talk them through that. We have ways to solve that problem without bringing a unit back to the shop, so to speak. So, and that also transcends to all departments, or primarily the people that are going to be speaking with the customers, but invaluable data that we're able to access.
So are you using that data to help you with better marketing for the sales process? Let's talk about marketing and sales. You've talked about manufacturing, you've talked about G&A, you've talked about engineering, tech support. What about marketing and sales? Are you using it in any way there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are two aspects of it. When you can see how your customers are using your product, you can see at what level. Are they a power user? Are they somebody who maybe is just not getting it right away? They need a little extra tender love and care. That's going to drive the different behaviors, right? So we can reach out accordingly. And then from a marketing perspective, once we find out what their hot buttons are, we can change our messaging. But even more exciting, behind the scenes, as there's a system for everything. There's a platform for everything, but we can automate our marketing based on our customer touches. We can respond with something that we know is of interest to them. So it's. And
give us an example of that.
We're still evolving.
Give us an example. Give us an example on the marketing because I like that.
Right. So if kind of pulling this out of the blue, but let's say you have a customer that, we notice that they are using every alert available. We would just use that as, maybe that's not the best example. We would just use their behaviors as maybe a trigger to send out a certain type of email, that reinforces their behavior, or if we know we have a power user, maybe they get, maybe they're the first on the list to receive emails regarding new products or solutions that are available. And
Right. No, that makes sense. And, and what we've done with clients is also, if you see that they're using certain features, like you're saying, when it comes to renewal time, well, it looks like you can probably highlight those features as being a reason to renew, right?
Absolutely.
Now, when you say the automation, I'm interested in that. So how are you automating that? Is it that you're connecting it up directly to your CRM package and triggering it, which I think would be super sophisticated, or is there something different?
Yeah, no, what you're on the right track, and that is an evolving process, right?
Sure.
So we are also in that mindset, right, where we want that. We don't want to have disparate systems where, I would have to jump into another platform, check everything out. We're getting it to a point where if I'm in my CRM and I'm in a customer account, I can just scroll down. I can see their product usage. I can see their last logins. I can see whether or not they're creating new sites with their equipment. Yeah. And, we're also able, to push out updates from that level as well. And so that's the sophistication. We're literally now able to communicate to the outside world and to the devices on the outside through the same tools that we use to just run our business every day. So it's
and you mentioned an important one too is over-the-air updates, right? So from a tech support, if you do find a bug, that's a lot easier than having to go out into the field and make these changes.
Yes, very much so.
And are you doing, I kind of call it the Tesla new car smell, whereas you get in your car and all of a sudden you've got the self-parking feature and it just makes it smell so good. Are you doing something, are you providing any upgrades as part of this service so that as your developers, and now in this case it's going to be more software developers, maybe add some features that you can update the product with, or is it mostly on the bug fixing side?
No, we actually, as we move forward, we're actually rolling out our second version of the original platform, and we've designed it in a way that enables us to build out an ecosystem, right? So one of our goals as a company is to provide almost like a one-stop shop for traffic safety management.
Absolutely.
So we as a manufacturer, we feel we brought a best of breed product line to the market. We want to find other manufacturers who have the same goal, right? And maybe we can partner together in some way where we have the built-in connectivity, because I love talking about this stuff today, but it was a long road to get here, So we've kind of got like the, and I think there's a lot of people on the sidelines that are looking in saying, yeah, I'd like to do that. Can't be that hard, but it's an interesting journey, to say the least. But anyways, yeah, we want to be able to roll out, new solutions, and we can introduce those right in the platform. So here's your new car smell button. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. And you just brought up something that's really important, and it's funny because the time we're recording this, I did release a podcast on ecosystems, and I'm interested to hear a little bit more on the ecosystem. So what is the ecosystem that you're thinking about? Because I agree with you. I mean, if you're out there first, you've got a platform, you can attract other businesses to your platform, and it's a very good way to monetize it. So talk to us a little bit about the ecosystem and what is it you see as being part of this ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a budding effort right now. But okay, so we work with radar speed displays and variable message signs. We sell those direct.
Yep.
But there's a lot of different elements to traffic safety. So some of our some of the people we work with maybe use counter classifier information. So if a traffic engineering department is getting traffic counts on their major highways or wherever in their town, all that, there's no reason that all that data could not be collected and also loaded into, available in a similar environment.
Right.
So counter classifiers, license plate recognition, any traffic safety product that you can think of, we'd entertain the conversation to figure out whether or not it would be a good fit. And for anybody we work with, it's the short road to connectivity, and it's an immediate. I don't want to say immediate, but it's a revenue generating opportunity for them as well.
No, absolutely, and you've got the customer base,
Yeah.
So. And I just want our listeners just to pause on this a bit. I mean, what Christian's saying here is, effectively, they've got a platform out there, and now they want to commercialize this platform into an ecosystem. Now, the way you do this is just exactly what you did, is you look at what the customer result is. What's the result that the customer is looking for? And ultimately, what it is in this case, is traffic safety. So that's exactly the right approach. Obviously, you've done it, is to now think, okay, then what are the other components of traffic safety? And they are the perfect candidates for your ecosystem. Right. So, and I think that's a natural evolution. And it's interesting because the podcast on ecosystems would have come out, I think, 4 before this one, but it's one of my analysis ones. But I do go through the evolution, and the evolution is you start out as a separate IoT product, and then it's now evolving into an ecosystem because either you're going to have the ecosystem or you're going to be part of someone else's ecosystem, and it's going to be the dominant player that's going to own the ecosystem. The person that has the ecosystem, you guys, right, is going to be the one that owns the customer. And I don't know if you've gotten into this yet, but then you're going to need to figure out the business model with your ecosystem partners too. Have you Christian, have you got that far yet, or are you still kind of working there?
That one I'm going to say to be determined, being worked out. Yes.
Yeah. But more the point is you own the customer relationship, and therefore you can work on this business model, and it puts you in a really good position. So awesome. Okay, so we talked about the planning side, and I think the main message there was, all right, technology, it's going to change, so let's get something out there as soon as we can. However, it's going to affect your business. And then you went through you round robin through pretty much all the departments. Then you made the point of, and then we're going to get all this really good data that not only that we're going to provide to our customers that they want, like how fast we can put a police officer there because this is where they're always speeding, but then we can use it internally. We can use it for support. We can use it for development. We can use it for sales. We can use it for marketing. And it's like classic. You guys are classic. Just classic the way you're using it. Is there anything else on the planning side? Because then the next thing I want to ask you is just some lessons learned, some best practices. But anything else on the planning side?
No, I mean, I think we covered a good chunk of it. Everything that's coming to my mind right now.
Okay. What about some lessons learned and some best practices? You've kind of covered a few of them already. Are there any others that you still want to get to? Yeah,
I mean, one thing we've learned, maybe this is from, even the company as a whole, even prior to, when I got here. I know that they had another connectivity solution where, it was similar. I mean, this took a while to evolve. And the feedback I got was, even though we still provide the option, right? So you can buy into the services, or you don't. If you absolutely don't want it, you don't necessarily have to. But one thing we do now that we didn't do as a company way back when we started this whole journey. Mm-hmm. Today it's different because all of our marketing, all of our sales, everybody's on board. The message is connectivity, right? The message is about the traffic cloud, the services, and how they will help you just do things better in general. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was, hey, we've got this upgrade. It's really exciting. Do you want to see it? Let me sum this up by saying you've got to be all in. You've got to target your message towards, IoT, which in my mind, connectivity is king. There's no way around it unless you want to be commoditized with your products. You got to get on board anyway. So my advice to anybody thinking about it, a lesson learned would just be go all in.
Go all in. Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it might have been, I talked to a much different company on the previous 2 podcasts ago, Schneider Electric. And I think that was in the title of it as well. It's all in. Because I agree. I mean, there are a few companies that are all in. Schneider's one of them. GE's another one of them. PTC is another one. You guys are another one. And it's because, you don't have to be. But, you can see all these extra benefits. It's not just making this awesome product, but it's all these extra benefits that come for your company. So you may as well be all in because there's just so many more advantages, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the analytics. I'm all for connectivity, and I'm all for smart products as well, but I'm even more for IoT products that are utilizing the analytics. Are you providing analytic tools? Are you using them, I guess for your own marketing purposes? How are you using analytics, and what are you using, or is that something that's developing?
I'd say it's, still developing, and that's part of our next iteration. We're tightening up all those process. We're tightening up all that information to use it in different ways. That continues to evolve. But I know, for me personally, without the kind of being able to view our customer behaviors, I'd be dead in the water. So.
So you have some dashboards. Is that what you're using to kind of view the customer behavior?
Yeah. And a lot of times, at the end of the day, from my perspective, we need to reach out to every single customer with an invoice and follow up with them. So it's really done more on a singular customer basis right now.
Sure.
But I think as we continue down this path, it'll be more of like dashboards that gives us like a high level, let us know where we need to put our focus even more.
Okay, so I think what you're saying then is when you go for the renewal, you dig into that particular customer's data and you see if there's anything there that can help you during the sales process.
Yeah, and that's kind of my world. So maybe that's I think about
that's a good segue.
Yeah, that's my it's just invaluable information for me to have. The connectivity gives you the data to have the confidence to be able to, you don't have to tiptoe around. The customer's going to be on board, and you just make the whole renewal process as easy as possible.
Well, let's talk about that now. The name of your book is Customer Success is Key. So how is customer success different from customer support, for example? Talk us through this whole customer success, and you did also allude to this earlier, that you now have even a new department. That's your department.
Yeah.
That's customer success. So talk us through this whole customer success.
Okay. So the primary function of customer success is to be proactive after the point of sale. So beforehand, it was, you sold a hardware unit. We had customer support available 9 to 5. They could call in if any issues came up. So it was kind of like more of a reactive business practice, kind of standard with manufacturers. With customer success, every single customer that has the traffic suite or the traffic cloud apps, every customer, they hit a sales order list, and then they get a follow-up, an automated follow-up email that goes out, gives them their username, password, a nice welcome. But then we also, in our department, we reach out to each and every customer with phone calls and emails. And the first goal is to schedule an onboarding call with them. So it's typically about a 30 to 40-minute call, well worth the time, because we're going to, I'm going to walk them through all the new services and features that are available. So we'll run reports. They'll see their sign out in the field. They'll be communicating with their sign. A lot of times I'll push a message out while we're on the call, so we have some fun with it as well. So,
nice.
And I teach them so that they can pick up the ball and get running with it. Because, our belief is, and what we found is that once they experience connectivity, they don't want to get rid of it.
So you're onboarding them, and you are, in effect, you're giving them a little bit of training so they not only minimize your customer support, but they can also see the real value of your customer. And then I suppose, is customer success involved between the onboarding and the 1-year anniversary or the 2-year anniversary, whatever the period of the service contract is going on?
Yeah, we actually own that process, right? Because if you're going to be asking your customers for money, you want to also be the one that not only gets them started, but follows up. You want to be the check-in person. You're getting feedback. You're delivering that feedback to other departments in your company. You kind of want everybody to be in on the customer success in general. Because we all want our customers to be successful and subscribers, long-term subscribers to the services. Yeah, we would actually be the ones to send out follow-up emails, send them the invoice. We get the first temperature reading on kind of, when is the right time. I've had customers that start asking about getting their invoice on the onboarding call because they're already planning to make sure they don't lose the services.
Right.
Just a quick example of another reason why being proactive is so important. A lot of our customers are municipalities, so they're on a fiscal cycle, right? So they got to get all their budgeting in at a certain month of the year. And we want to be in tune to find out when that is so that, even if it's 8 months in advance, I want that renewal invoice in the hands of the right person, in the hands of the decision maker, so we don't have any delays. So it's one thing that we look out for as well.
Now, so the customer success department is, in a sense, and I'm going to ask you about the relationship with sales in a minute, but its focus is to make sure the customers are successful and indirectly to have them renew, right?
Correct.
Now, what's the relationship with sales? Because you are doing sales. Do you still have salespeople that are making that initial sale and then it passes to you? Or I could see it both ways. Or is the customer success department, the actual sales department as well, making the initial sale?
No. We still have our territory managers out in the field. So there is that front line. They are really the working with the customers, showing them the product. Ideally, they know we work together so that we can both equally present the value proposition of the apps. Right, so they make that initial sale, and then my relationship with them is that I want to make it as easy as possible for them to hand their customers off. Right, so it's kind of like it's really a partnership or like a 1-2 punch. Right? And once they come in, they know their customers are getting taken care of, they're getting started the right way, and a lot of times those customers, because I have the active relationship with them, they'll call me, maybe another lead will come in, and then I can kick it back out to the reps.
Got it.
It is very, bidirectional, and we work well together.
Well, sales guys love to work with others. That's true, but they love money even more. So, are they getting commissioned on the renewals as well, or is it only on the initial sale?
Yeah, no, you know what? We do a little bump, and this is where we kind of scratch each other's backs. We do just a little bump on the overall renewals, right? And that goes both ways as well, right? So they're not. They're not looking at me the wrong way. I'm not looking at them the wrong way. We're both on the same page. We want to make as many sales and as many happy customers as we possibly can.
So where do you see, are there any changes? Do you see the customer success department changing in any way, or where do you see things going from here?
I think there will be an expansion. We're kind of, we're growing as a company, so I can see, you just got to kind of figure out, how many people you need, and there's a lot of different touch points. So I think it's just, more of it, to provide an excellent experience for our customers overall. And I also think that we're I can't go into too much detail, but we're looking into some different technology platforms and, some better tools specifically for that function.
The function of maintaining this relationship, you mean?
Yeah, the whole the onboarding, the renewals, just ensuring that the customers get started the right way and pay us for the services ongoing.
No, right. And we touched a little bit about that, even connecting up to CRM and just trying to close the loop on all that. All right. Well, Christian, that was awesome. It's really good to hear, from not necessarily a multi-billion-dollar company. No. We've heard from those, but, a smaller company. How many employees are in your company, All Traffic Solutions?
We're about a 20-person outfit right now.
All right. So this shows that, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't even have to be a multi-million dollar outfit. It can be a smaller one. Now, Christian, where can people find out more about your company? And specifically, I will include it, but your book and yourself. Sure.
As far as our website is a great resource. So if you just go to alltrafficsolutions.com, you can get started there. And if anybody in the audience is specifically interested in the ecosystem aspect, I'd be happy to entertain that conversation. I can probably steer you in the right direction within our company to discuss that. So you could call our main number, and my desk extension is 212.
All right. I'll put both the website and your main number and desk extension. And the title of your book, the full title of your book is?
It is Customer Success is Key, How a Small Manufacturer Transformed into an Internet of Things Solutions Provider and Unlocked $2 million in SaaS Revenue.
Nice.
Kind of the whole story in the title, right? Yeah. And you can find that on, if you do an Amazon search, it's a Kindle ebook, but I also made an audiobook version as well. So if you just search Customer Success is Key, should show up right at the top.
All right. I'll also put that link in the show analysis notes too. And that's right. We've done a very short synopsis on this. I read the book. I found it was really, really informative and just provides a lot more detail than we're able to cover in an hour. But with that, Christian, thank you. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bruce.
All right, man. Good job.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, I had a...
That's awesome. You guys are just knocking it down one after another. You're doing exactly the right thing. It's not like I have to tell you because you're actually doing it, but it's classic, how you're approaching it.
Yeah, I'm proud of us as a company. For 2021, it's like 20 to 22 people. We are killing it for a little company, so...
Yeah, and and you said it right there, $2 million additional dollars in SaaS revenue, and the nice thing is it's recurring, right? So it's just a nice type of revenue.
It is, yeah, it is, and I think that's the golden ticket. That's what everybody's looking for. It's like, how do we start each month over, not at zero?
Yeah, no, exactly. All right, well, so we have. I'm just trying to think. It's either going to be next week or in 3 weeks. So I'll let you know what the scheduling is. And then I already asked you for your Twitter, and you said you didn't have one. That's no problem. I don't really do Facebook marketing just because that's not really where our audience is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, sure.
But no problem. I will be, I'll be using our mechanisms to, to publicize it. And when we get there, then I will let you know, and hopefully something good will come from it.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. It was a good time and great conversation. Thanks again.
Yeah. No, I had fun too. Okay. We'll catch you later.
Yep.
Thanks, Christian.
Take care, Bruce. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. That was a good talk with Christian Shaffer. This podcast goes vertical, deep diving into different topics each week. If you prefer a more horizontal and structured approach to learning IoT business and its orbiting technologies, check out my book IoT Inc., published by McGraw-Hill, or become a certified IoT professional by completing the ICIP training and certification program. For details, just go to www.iot-inc.com. Also go to www.iot-inc.com for an analysis of this episode, links to things that were mentioned during the episode, and very importantly, the episode's PDF transcript. Just search for the name of the episode or the guest. If you're new to this podcast, subscribe. That way you'll get every week's episode delivered straight to your device. Or, if you've been listening for a while, there are 3 ways you can support the show. You can leave a rating or a review on iTunes. Just go to iot-inc.com/iTunes. It only takes 1 click to leave a rating, a little bit longer to leave a review. You can share it on social. I'm on LinkedIn, to a lesser extent on Twitter. And of course, you can support the show by buying my book, IoT Inc., or the ICIP training and certification program. It's how I pay the bills. Next week's episode is How to Tame IoT's Frankenstein-like Security Monster, Part 1, with Daniel Miesler. I hope you can join me then. I'm your host, Bruce Sinclair. Thank you for listening. Till next week, may your path to IoT business be a step-by-step one.
You have been listening to the IoT Inc. Business Show.